We are working on GMetrix PowerPoint Core Skills Review 2. The first task asks us to go ahead and begin this slideshow, and we're going to actually record it. And all we need to do is click through the entire slideshow. So we want to go to the slideshow tab here at the top. In the setup group, we have the record slideshow dropdown. We'll go ahead and click start from beginning. And for this, we'll leave everything checked. We'll click start recording. And then all you want to do is just go ahead and click through each of these slides. Task 2 wants us to go ahead and change the theme of this presentation to retrospect. So we want to go to the design tab here at the top. We're going to be in the themes group. We'll click this drop down here, and what you want to do is find retrospect. I believe it's this one. It is. If you're not sure, make sure you hover. Task 3 wants us to change the orientation of our current presentation to portrait, and we'll ensure the fit. So we want to go to the design tab here at the top. We're in the customize group. We'll click the slide size drop down. Custom slide, and then what we want to do is here is just click portrait. We'll click OK, and then we want to click ensure fit. Task 4 wants us to change our autocorrect options, so we'll go to the file tab here at the top. We'll click options. In the proofing section, we're going to go ahead and click autocorrect options. And what you want to undo is just uncheck this box right here for show autocorrect options button. We'll click OK. We'll click OK. Task 5 wants us to go to slide 3 here, and what we're going to do is change the brightness and contrast of this picture to brightness minus 40% and contrast plus 20%. So with this selected, we have the Picture Tools Format tab here at the top, and what we want to do is go to Corrections here. We'll go ahead and select brightness minus 40%, contrast plus 20. Task 6 wants us to go to slide 3 here, and it wants us to do a few things to this text box here that says income. The first thing it wants us to do is center the text. So we'll go ahead, we're on the home tab, paragraph group. We'll go ahead and click this center button. And then what it wants us to do is to apply a transform text effect. So with this, with our cursor here in this text box, we want to click Drawing Tools Format tab here at the top. And then what we want to select is in the Word Art Styles group. We'll click Text Effects dropdown, Transform. And then this list can be cumbersome to look through, but you want to find the deflate. And then it tells us that we want to change this from income to our income. We'll go ahead and click out of the text box. Task 7 wants us to go ahead and mark this presentation as final. In order to do that, we'll click File here at the top. In the Protect Presentation, we'll click this drop down and we'll check Mark as Final. We'll click OK. OK. Task 8 wants us to go ahead and select this text box here that has the text Training Day. And what we're going to do is two things. We're going to have it center aligned. It's right now right aligned, so we'll go ahead and click this one to make it centered. And then over here in the font group, we just want to click italics. And notice, because I only had my cursor on the one and only did the one, you'll want to select that text before you apply it. We'll click out of it. Task 9 wants us to delete slides 4 through 8 at the same time. There are a few ways to do this, but what I'm going to do is select this first slide, number 4, and I'm going to hold the Shift key down, and I'm going to go all the way to 8. Holding the Shift key down, I'm going to select the 8, and notice it highlights all of those slides. And now on my keyboard, I'm just going to go ahead and hit the Delete key, and it deletes. And again, there are a few ways to do that, but that's probably the easiest. Task 10 wants us to delete the annotation on slide 2. So we'll go ahead and click that, and then all we need to do is to click this white line here, and then what we can do is just hit the delete key on our keyboard. Task 11 wants us to go to slide 4, so we'll go ahead and select slide 4. What we're going to do is actually change this graphic, this smart art graphic, to text. So there are a few ways to do this. You can just right click here and select convert to text, or on the design tab here at the top in the reset group, we can do the same thing by clicking the convert drop down and saying convert to text. Task 12 wants us to go to slide 4, and what it wants us to do is to change the playback of this video here. So you want to go ahead and click that video so we can go to the Format tab here at the top, actually the Playback tab here at the top. If you don't select that video, you will not have these tabs. And what we want to do is we want it to start on click, which is right, but then what we want to do is have it rewind after playing. We'll go ahead and click off the video. Task 13 wants us to go ahead and go to slide 2, And what it wants us to do is to change the first animation on slide 2 to have a 0.5 second duration. So we'll go ahead and go to the Animations tab here at the top, and we'll open the Animations pane. What we want to do is select the first animation, and I could have just selected this one here. It would have done the same thing. And then what we want to do is change this duration to be 0.5. Task 14 wants us to go to the third slide, and what we're going to do is add a shadow effect to this picture. So we'll go ahead and select that picture, and then what we want to do is click the Format tab here at the top. We're in the Picture Styles group. We'll click Picture Effects. This is a shadow. It is an inner, so we'll go to the inner group, and then it's inside left. Make sure you hover if you're not sure. Task 15 wants us to go ahead and have our slides advance after 2 seconds. So we'll go ahead and start on this first slide. And what we want to do is go to the Transitions tab here at the top. And then in the Timings group, we want to check this after. And then we want to change this to 2 seconds here. So you can click the up arrow, down arrow, or you can key it in. It's up to you. But then once you do that, you want to click Apply to All. Task 16 wants us to go ahead and apply a hyperlink to this image here on slide 1. So go ahead and select the image, and then what you want to do is go to the Insert tab here at the top. In the Links groups, we'll go ahead and click Hyperlink, and this is to a website, so we want to click Existing File or Web Page, and down here in the address, we want to go ahead and type the website. We'll click off the image. Task 17 wants us to go to slide 5, and what it wants us to do is to apply a shape style to this chart here at the bottom. You want to be careful where you select, because if you select an individual element, it'll only apply to that. So what I've done is I've clicked in the white space here so that I selected the entire chart. From here, with that selected, we have the Chart Tools Format tab, and we want to be in the Shape Styles group. We'll go ahead and click this More button, and what we want to look for is the Moderate Effect Purple Accent 6. If you're not sure, make sure you hover over each one until you find what you need. Now what we want to do is apply a line weight of 6 points. So on the shape outline, we'll go to weight and we'll click 6 points. Task 18 wants us to go to slide 2, and it wants us to change the bullet type for each of these. So we'll go ahead and select our text here, and what it wants is star bullets. So we'll click the bullet drop down, and then we'll go ahead and select the stars. Task 19 wants us to clear the timing of all the slides in the presentation. So what you want to do is go to the Slideshow tab here at the top. In the Setup group, we want to click the Record Slideshow dropdown, highlight Clear, and then we want to clear timing on all slides. Task 20 wants us to go ahead and go to slide 3. And then what it wants us to do is to record this presentation from this slide to the end. So we're on the Slideshow tab here at the top, and we want to click Record Slideshow, and this time we want to select Start Recording from Current Slide. We'll go ahead and leave this all the defaults selected, and we'll click Start Recording, and then we'll click to the end. Task 21 wants us to go to slide 5, so we'll go ahead and select slide 5. And what it wants us to do is select the table here at the top, and we're going to change the table style. So we'll go to the Design tab here at the top, and what we're looking for is Theme Style 2 Accent 6. Task 22 wants us to go to slide 4, and what we're going to do is select this chart, and what we want to do is to show the primary horizontal major and minor grid lines. So with the chart selected, we can click this plus, or you can play around with the charts tools at the top. But we'll click this little plus button here, and what we want to do is select the grid lines arrow, and we want to check two things. We want to check the primary horizontal major grid line and the minor grid line as well. Go ahead and click off the chart. Task 23 wants us to go to slide 2, and it wants to change the layout of this chart. So with the chart selected, we'll go to the Design tab here at the top, and what we want to do is go to the chart's layout, Quick Layout, and it wants layout number 4. We'll click off of it. Task 24 wants us to go ahead and change the colors of this document, and then it also wants us to change the zoom level. So the first thing we want to do is go to the Design tab here at the top. We're in the variance group. We'll click the drop down here, and then we'll hover over colors so we can select grayscale. When you're done with that, you can do this two ways. You could zoom in here with the little plus button, or you can click view at the top, and the zoom group, click zoom, and then change the percent up here to 60%. We'll click OK. Task 25 has a few things it wants us to do. The first thing is we're going to go ahead and modify the photo album so that all of the pictures are displayed in black and white. In order to do that, we want to go to the Insert tab here at the top. In the Images group, we want to click the Photo Album drop-down, and we'll go ahead and select Edit Photo Album. Over here in Pictures Options, we're going to go ahead and select All Pictures Black and White, and we'll click Update. And notice it made that change for us. The next thing we want to do is select this the second slide, which has the first picture, and we're just going to click and drag it to the bottom to make it the last picture. And then finally, we're going to go to the Design tab here at the top because it wants us to apply the facet theme to the slideshow, and I believe it's this one. It is. If you're not sure, make sure you hover. Task 26 wants us to go ahead and delete all of the slides in this presentation except for the first slide, which is the title slide. So what we'll do is we'll put our cursor here on 2, and there are a few ways to do this. I'm going to just scroll down. I'm going to push the Shift key on my keyboard and select the 4th slide. Notice it also selected the 3rd slide when I did that, and I'm going to hit the Delete key on my keyboard. Task 27 wants us to go to slide 2, and what it wants us to do is to change this from 2 columns to 3. So we'll go ahead and select our text. We'll go to the Home tab here at the top, and in the Paragraph group, we'll click this drop down here and change it to 3 columns. It doesn't show anything special, but it has made the change. And then what we want to do is apply a colored outline. So we'll click with our cursor still in this text box, we'll click the Format tab here at the top. And what we want to do is select the yellow accent 3. Task 28 wants us to go ahead and go to slide 4. And what it wants us to do is to change this chart type to a 3D pie. So we'll go to the Design tab here at the top. We'll select under Type, we'll click Change Chart Type. We'll go to Pie, and then we'll go ahead and select the 3D pie. We'll click OK. Task 29 wants us to go ahead and apply an animation to the marketing budget plan. So we'll go ahead and select this text box here, and we want to go to the Animations tab here at the top, and in the Animations group, we'll click this More drop down. And what it wants us to do is select the swivel. Task 30 wants us to go to slide 3, and what it wants us to do is change the second animation to a grow and turn. So if you're not on your Animations tab, you won't see these numbers, but once you are on the Animations tab, you can select 2. And then with 2 selected, we'll click this drop down box, and we'll select grow and turn. And then it wants us to change the duration to 3 seconds. So we'll click the up here where you can hand key it. Task 31 wants us to delete the comment on the first slide. I see it here, so I'll go ahead and select it, but I can also do that from the Review tab. And what I'm going to do is just click the delete button here to remove the comment. Now it wants us to go to slide 9, and it wants us to add a comment, and we're going to apply it to the heading up here. So we'll go ahead and select the outside of this text box. We'll go to the Review tab here at the top. We'll click New Comment, and we'll type the text below. We'll click Out of our comment. Task 32 wants us to insert a footer into this document. So what we want to do is go to the Insert tab here at the top, and we're in the text group. We'll click Header and Footer, and it wants us to show the slide number on here, and it also wants us to add the text Fusion Tomo. So we'll click the footer box as well and type in Fusion Tomo. And then what we want to do is uncheck Don't Show on Title slide, and then we'll click Apply to All. Task 33 wants us to save this presentation in an older PowerPoint format. So we'll click File, Save As. We'll go to our GMetrix Templates folder. We'll go ahead and change the title of this file to Older Version. Make sure you capitalize Older and Version. And then here in the Save As type, we'll go ahead and click this, and what we want to do is select PowerPoint 97 2003 Presentation. Make sure you select the presentation because there's also a show. We'll click Save. We'll click Continue. Task 34 wants us to compress the presentation of this media to low quality, and then we're going to go ahead and save the presentation to our GMetrix templates folder. So we'll go ahead and click File here. Here we're going to go ahead and click Compress Media and select Low Quality. When it's done, click Close. Then what we want to do is click the File Save As, and we'll map to our GMetrix templates folder. And what we want to do is change this to say compressed, and we'll click Save. Task 35 wants us to go ahead and encrypt this document and mark it as final. So we'll click File here at the top, and in this we'll go ahead and click Protect Presentation, Encrypt with Password, and we'll type in the GMetrix below. And we'll type it in again. And then what we want to do is mark this as final as well. Click OK. Click OK. Task 36 wants us to create a slideshow that only shows slides 2, 3, and 4 and can be browsed by an individual. Now this one can be a little bit tricky because if you're just quickly reading it, you'll think custom slideshow and you'll create a new slideshow. But what GMetrix is asking you to do is to click in the setup group on the slideshow tab. Click this right here. We'll go ahead and click Browse by an individual, and then where we change the slides from 2 to 4 is from 2 to 4. We'll click OK. Task 37 wants us to go to slide 5, and in this table we're going to go ahead and insert a row above the top row. So we'll go ahead and put our cursor here in the top row, and on the Layout tab we'll click Insert Above, and then it wants us to go ahead and merge the cells. So we'll go ahead and select the top row, the entire cell, or the entire row, and click Merge Cells, and then we'll type in the text below. We'll click out of the table. Task 38 wants us to remove all of the animations on slide 2, so we'll go ahead and select slide 2. We'll go to the Animations tab here at the top, and there's a few things we could do. We can click the Animations tab and then select each one of these by hitting the Control key on our keyboard, and then what we can do is select None here. Task 39 wants us to change the theme of the slideshow to Slice, and then we're going to change our slide orientation to Portrait. So we're going to go to the Design tab here at the top, and in the Themes group we'll click this drop down box, and what we're looking for is Slice. So we'll go ahead and select it. And then what we want to do is in Customize, we'll click the Slide Size drop down to select Custom Slide Size. And then here we'll click Portrait, we'll click OK. And it doesn't tell us which one to select. This is default, so we'll go ahead and select that. Task 40 wants us to go ahead and convert the bulleted list on slide 2. So we'll go ahead and select slide 2, and we're converting it over to SmartArt. So we'll go ahead and select our bulleted list. And there are a few ways to do this, but what I'm going to do is just right click on this list, and then we're going to select Convert to SmartArt, and then it wants us to select the vertical block list, which is this one right here. We'll go ahead and select that.